Hello dear students, I am Dr. Sanjay Pagar, Associate Professor, Department of Geography. I welcome all of you in this online lecture series on behalf of Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samajas, CARE BH Commerce and AM Science, popularly known as Catechism College Nasik. Dear student, today we have a class S.Y.B.Sc semester 3rd, Geography paper first, that is Environmental Geography part first. Dear student, today we have a lecture number 26 of this subject, and in this lecture we are going to discuss our third chapter, that is environmental problem, and in this chapter we have a subtopic, that is water pollution part second. Dear student, in our previous lecture we have studied definition and various sources of the water pollution, and today we are going to discuss about effects of water pollution as well as to measure to control water pollution. Dear student, you know that water is one of the fundamental need of life on the globe. Let's quickly revise definition of water pollution. When water becomes pollutant due to different pollutants, then it is called as water pollution. The water is polluted by numbers of ways and the reason, such as discharge of industrial waste, human activities or human acts, decomposition of organic matter, and agriculture and the domestic activity that are responsible for the water pollution. Water pollution adversely changes the quality of the water. Dear student, you know that the water pollution has become a serious global problem as will cause many diseases and even the deaths. If we are talking about in India, almost all rivers in India are polluted. That is major problem that we observe in India. So let's discuss effects of the water pollution. The first is disease through the polluted water. Dear student, the water pollution is main cause of spreading various diseases in human being. Drinking or the consuming polluted water cause typhoid, diarrhea, cholera, and various other diseases. Water with cadmium causes liver and lung cancer, whereas water with the lead component leads headache and loss of power muscle, whereas the water with the manganese cause neurological disorder which are really hard to cure. Then second effect, the destruction of ecosystem. Ecosystems are extremely dynamic and respond to even the very small changes in the environment. The water pollution causes decrease in BOD. BOD means the biological oxygen demand. Also, the level of dissolved oxygen is reduced in the water body. Dear student, when the chemical in the water body observe that time it conserve or when the chemical enter in the water body, it encourages the growth of algae, and this algae form a layer on the top of the pond or the lake. Here you can see in this feature, you can clearly see the layer of the algae that we observe in one water body. So that this is the effects of the water pollution. Dear student, when such type of the side effect of the water pollution observed in any water body, that time bacteria feed on this algae. This decreases the amount of oxygen in that water body and severely affecting the aquatic life there. Means whatever the ecosystem we have observed in that particular water body where the water pollution is observed or where the effect of the eutrophication is observed, that time definitely in this water body oxygen level is decreases, and that directly impact on the aquatic life or the aquatic ecosystem that are present inside that water body. So this is the really very dangerous side effect we observe of the water pollution, because it is responsible to create the unbalance in that ecosystem, and it totally disturbs the ecosystem that we observe in that water body. Third one, that effect on the food chain. This is also important impact or the effects of the water pollution we observe on the surface. The destruction in the food chain happens when the toxins and the pollutants in the water are consumed by the aquatic animal, which are then consumed by the human being. Means what? When the water is polluted, that time not only that system, that ecosystem is disturbed, that food chain of that particular ecosystem is disturbed, but when the human being consume this aquatic animal, maybe fish or maybe any other, that time it also indirectly affect on human health also, that we observe here. Then effect on the plant. This is also very important effect that we observe of the water pollution. The water carries various minerals, but when water is polluted, it causes deficiency of such necessary mineral. Here in this picture, you can observe the sign of effects of the water pollution that we observe on the various plants, or it may be crops also. Then second thing is, that is the phytotoxicity occur when the toxic chemical poison plants. Dear student, the phytotoxicity means what? The phyto means plants and toxicity means toxic activity. Means when this activity is observed in any with respect to the various plant, that time definitely the toxic chemical poison the plants. That is the very important side effect of the water pollution we observe with respect to the plants. The sign of the phytotoxicity include the poor growth, dying seedling, and the dead spot on the leaves. Here you can see some spot on the leaves. For example, mercury poisoning. This is the ideal example that you observe. It's the effects of the water pollution that you observe on the with respect to the plants. Then we have the next effect, that is effects on the animal. Due to the water pollution, aquatic animals such as fish or the other microorganisms, seabirds, die early. That is a very important side effect that we observe with respect to the animals. Dear student, especially I am talking about the aquatic animals, especially fish or maybe the other microorganisms that are present inside the water body and that form the aquatic ecosystem. It may be lake or maybe the river body or dam or any pond. Here we clearly observe the side effect of the water pollution with respect to that animal. It means what? The aquatic ecosystem is too much disturbed due to the polluted water. Then we have the effect on the soil. Here also we observe that when the polluted water slides over the soil, it takes away all or some amount of essential mineral, as well as it leaves harmful polluted on soil. Also it kills microorganisms that are present in the soil, and you know that this microorganism is very important to maintain the natural fertility of the soil. But when due to the water pollution this microorganisms are died, that time it directly affect on the process of recycling the soil fertility. This led to the infertility of the soil. So this is very important side effect that we observe with respect to soil of water pollution. Dear student, when the polluted water is watered to crops, then it leads to decrease in the productivity. It means what? The productivity of agriculture or maybe other crops is decreased when we use the polluted water for crops or any other purpose of the agriculture. So dear student, then let's discuss the few control on the water pollution, because it is necessary if you want to talk, if you want to stop this all side effect of the water pollution, then definitely it required to control the water pollution. So for that purpose, we have to apply few measures. Let's discuss the important measures that are useful to control the water pollution. First is, water pollution at the point sources can be reduced by the resolution. because with help of the law and regulation we can stop this thing. But there, in this regard, the government can take the leads to control the water pollution by implementing the strict rules and regulation to control the water pollution. That is very important. The second thing, that educate the people about not to pollute water. This awareness will help in swallowing water pollution to a great extent. This is very important if you want to control water pollution. Then next one is washing cloth and taking bath in the tanks or the wells from where supply of the drinking water is made. It should be strictly prohibited, because if you not do this thing, then definitely this washing of the cloth and this the taking the bath, that definitely cause to the polluted much more water. So therefore it is very important that we should stop this activity, or maybe you can do this activity, but take care there should not be enter this sewage water into the main water bodies or the fresh water channel that are available nearby our village or nearby our houses. Then fourth one, that industries should release the water into the tank or the other water bodies only after removing the hazards, the pollutants from the used water. Then here, if you do that, definitely we can avoid the various side effects of water pollution. So for that purpose, it is very important we should stop this. We should be release the water after removing the hazards, the pollutants are available in that water, that should be separate from that water. That is very important. The next one is that major towns and cities should have sewage treatment plants. These plants separate the undissolved particle and chemical. That is very useful if you want to avoid the spreading disease in human being and also the other animal. Dear student, the sewage treatment plant should be effectively implemented. That is very important. If we just started the sewage plant, but they are very important that should be effectively implemented. Otherwise, it will be useful. There is not any use for the control of the water pollution. Therefore, in this regard, this sewage treatment plant should be effectively implemented is very important. Use of pesticide and chemical fertilizer should be minimized. Judicious use of fertilizer is important. Instead of the chemical fertilizer, organic fertilizer should be used at the if you want to increase the agriculture productivity, or if you want to increase the soil fertility. The next one is that separate channel for sewage water should be provided. It should not be released into the water. That is very important. If we are able to stop this thing, then definitely we can able to control water pollution in a great extent. So therefore, this is very important. The separate channel for sewage water should be provided, and it should not be released into the river or maybe the other water body that are available near the settlement or near the houses. The next one, that it is very important. It is essential to test water for various water bodies. Regularly, it is very important. If any pollutants are dissolved in the water, then their origin should be searched and strict steps should be taken against it. There should not be mixed that pollutant in that particular water body. So for that purpose, we have to check time to time what are the pollutants are available in that particular water bodies, in that water, and what are the sources. If we are able to search these sources, then definitely we can able to stop or minimize that entering the various pollutant in that water body. So in this regard, this solution or this control is very important. And last one that we are going to discuss here, strict law should be passed against setting up the industry near the water bodies. Dear student, you know that the industrial waste is the main reason or main cause to pollute the water. In this regard, this last 10 number control or the measure is very important. So for that purpose, strict law should be passed against the setting up the industrial near any water policy. So in this regard, I am talking about the government, the government and the local governing body. Is the work is very important. If they do implement all the policy, whatever we consider to control the water policy, rules and regulation, if we implement it properly, definitely we can able to stop or the control the water pollution in a large extent. So therefore, in this regard, these all controls are very important. Dear student, today we discuss here what are the effects of the water pollution and how we can minimize the intensity of the water pollution that we discussed today. In next lecture, we are going to discuss another problem, that is air pollution, that we are going to discuss in detail, especially what do we mean by air pollution and what are the reasons of or the causes that are responsible for the air pollution, that we are going to discuss in detail in next lecture. Thank you. Goodbye.